Before he arrived, Boulder's air was heavy with silence, the anticipation that once electrified the city before every home game had faded, replaced by a quiet resignation. The streets around the stadium, once bustling with fans in black and gold, now felt deserted, as if the heart of college football had simply stopped beating here. Folsom Field, once alive with black and gold, was now a sea of empty bleachers. The stadium, which had witnessed decades of triumph and heartbreak, now stood as a silent monument to what once was. The echoes of past glory, national championships, Heisman moments, felt lost in the thin mountain air. The banners hung like faded memories, reminders of a time when Colorado football was a force to be reckoned with. Each Saturday the Buffaloes took the field, but hope was gone. The players moved through their routines, but the energy was missing. The spark that once ignited the crowd and the team alike had vanished. Losses weren't just common, they were expected, and often brutal. The scoreboard told the story week after week, a relentless reminder of how far the program had fallen. Colorado football had become a footnote, a guaranteed win for opponents. Visiting teams circled the date on their calendars, knowing a trip to Boulder meant an easy victory. The program wandered, directionless, its identity fading. Coaches cycled through, each promising a turnaround but none able to deliver. The players, too, seemed to carry the weight of history on their shoulders, unsure of how to reclaim what had been lost. The few loyal fans who remained watched out of habit, their cheers hollow in the emptiness. They clung to memories, hoping for a spark, but each game only deepened the sense of loss. Hopelessness seeped into every corner of the organization, in the locker rooms, in the hallways, even in the offices. A sense of defeat lingered, impossible to shake. It wasn't just about losing games, it was about losing relevance. The merchandise gathered dust, ticket booths stood empty, and the once proud brand faded from the national conversation. Young athletes wanted big stages and roaring crowds. Boulder offered neither. The best recruits looked elsewhere, chasing dreams in places where football still mattered. The program was adrift, sinking into obscurity. Each season blurred into the next, with little hope for change or revival. The cold wasn't just the weather, it was a feeling in the bones of the team. The chill in the air mirrored the chill in the hearts of those who still cared. This was the backdrop. A proud program reduced to a whisper. The legacy of greatness was now just a faint echo, barely heard above the silence. Folsom Field felt more like a library than a cathedral of sport. The hallowed ground, once thunderous with cheers, now echoed only with footsteps and memories. The national media ignored Colorado, except to document another blowout. Headlines rarely mentioned the Buffaloes, and when they did, it was only to highlight another defeat. The Buffaloes weren't just losing, they were forgotten. The world of college football moved on, leaving Boulder in the shadows. The lowest point had been reached. Something had to change. Something big. The silence was deafening, but in that silence, the stage was set for a new beginning. Colorado was an afterthought, a shadow of its former self in the world of college football. Once the Buffaloes had tasted glory, but those days felt like ancient history. Now the team was barely a blip on the radar, lost in the shuffle of bigger, more successful programs. Invisible, on the national stage, the Buffaloes played in front of dwindling crowds. Their games met with indifference from fans and media alike. ESPN's College Game Day never came to Boulder. Networks didn't care. The spotlight had shifted elsewhere, leaving Colorado in the dark, their story untold and unnoticed. The Buffaloes were just a name on a schedule, carrying no threat or intrigue. Opponents circled the Colorado game as an easy win, barely giving them a second thought. Years of losing had drained all belief. The players felt it, the coaches felt it, and so did the fans. Hope was in short supply. Coaches cycled through, each leaving with a losing record. No one could find the formula to turn things around, and the revolving door only deepened the sense of instability. Recruiting dried up. Why would top talent come to a program with no hope? High school stars looked elsewhere, chasing dreams at schools with brighter futures. The cycle of losing fed on itself. Each defeat made it harder to attract talent, and every missed opportunity pushed the program further into obscurity. The local community felt the apathy. Ticket sales plummeted, merchandise gathered dust, and the once proud colors of the Buffaloes faded from view. Game day buzz vanished. The excitement that once electrified Boulder was gone, replaced by silence and empty streets. Fans stopped caring to avoid disappointment. The heartbreak of loss after loss became too much to bear, and apathy set in. The program failed to capture even its own city's heart. Boulder moved on, its attention drifting to other things, leaving the team to struggle alone. The athletic department knew a miracle was needed. The situation was dire, and everyone in the room felt the weight of the program's decline. A slow rebuild wasn't an option. The program was on life support. Time was running out, and the window for change was closing fast. They needed a shock to the system, something audacious. It would take boldness, vision, and a willingness to risk everything for a chance at revival. It was time to take a risk that could save or break everything. The Buffaloes had reached their crossroads, and the next move would define their future. They were ready to bet it all, because sometimes the only way out is through. Then, the rumor started swirling. Deion Sanders, known to the world as Coach Prime, was coming to Colorado. It was the kind of news that didn't just ripple through the college football world, it sent shockwaves. People everywhere were asking, could it really be true? It sounded impossible. Why would a legend, a Hall of Famer, leave the comfort of success to take over a one-win team? Colorado football had become an afterthought, a program stuck in a cycle of disappointment and empty seats. But the announcement was real. Deion Sanders was officially the new head coach. The press conference was electric, with cameras flashing and fans buzzing with anticipation. It was a moment that felt bigger than football. His first meeting with the team wasn't just an introduction, it was a declaration, a challenge. He didn't sugarcoat the situation or offer empty promises. He told the players, get ready for change. The days of complacency were over. He was here to turn the program upside down. I'm bringing my own luggage, and it's Lewis. The message was clear. He was bringing in talent, discipline, and a new standard. If you wanted to be part of this team, you had to level up. I'm coming. And when I get here, it's gonna be a different day. It wasn't just a warning. It was a promise. The energy in the room shifted. Players sat up straighter. The old ways were done. The era of mediocrity was over. The team could feel it. The fans could sense it. Even the doubters had to admit, something was changing in Boulder. That speech went viral, spreading across social media like wildfire. It became the mission statement for a new era, a rallying cry for a fan base desperate for hope. Sanders brought more than a staff. He brought a presence, a sense of purpose. Every coach he hired, every decision he made, was about building a culture of belief. Cameras, celebrities, and swagger followed. Suddenly, Colorado was the place to be. Practices felt like events. The spotlight was back. He wore sunglasses indoors, spoke with prophecy-level confidence, and demanded excellence in every detail. He was unapologetically himself, and that authenticity was magnetic. He didn't talk about slow rebuilds. He talked about winning now. He set expectations high, and he made it clear excuses wouldn't be tolerated. The attitude shift was instant. The world was watching. Reporters packed press conferences, fans lined up outside Folsom Field, and the buzz was undeniable. Every move, every word, every tweet became news. The program was under a microscope, but for the first time in years, that was a good thing. Sanders dragged Colorado out of the shadows and into the spotlight. The stadium lights felt brighter, the nights felt bigger, and hope was in the air. He hadn't coached a game, but he'd already won. People cared about Colorado football again. Students lined up for tickets, fans dusted off their old gear, and the city buzzed with anticipation. The empty stadium was about to get loud. The silence that had haunted Folsom Field was about to be shattered by a new era of belief. The man had arrived and he was bringing his luggage. But it wasn't just about the bags. It was about the message. Colorado was open for business. Everyone wanted to see what was inside. The silence was over. The anticipation was electric, and the future was wide open. The Prime era had begun, and Colorado football would never be the same. Coach Prime's change was immediate and ruthless. He used the transfer portal to orchestrate the largest roster overhaul in college football history. Over 50 players left, replaced by a flood of new talent. Star transfers, including his son Shador and Travis Hunter, followed him to Boulder. Sanders wasn't interested in slow change. He rebuilt the team from scratch. Practices became high energy, filmed events, perfection was demanded. The defeated atmosphere vanished, replaced by relentless ambition. Sanders wasn't just building a team, he was forging a new identity. The world watched, fascinated and skeptical. The moment of truth. Colorado, a massive underdog, faced TCU. In a Hollywood-worthy shootout, Colorado stunned the world with a 45-42 win. Deion Sanders set a school record. Travis Hunter was everywhere. Suddenly, Boulder was the center of the sports universe. Folsom Field became the hottest ticket in town. Every game a sellout, celebrities on the sidelines. ESPN and Fox brought national broadcasts to Boulder. Deion's press conferences became must-see TV. Merchandise sales and university applications soared. The team was the lead story everywhere. Early wins, including a dominant victory over Nebraska, validated Sanders' promises. Colorado football was now a cultural phenomenon. The team played with flair and swagger, matching their coach. For the first time in a generation, Colorado was cool. The hopelessness of the past was gone. A new day had arrived in Boulder. With attention came scrutiny. Critics called Sanders' methods reckless, a threat to college football tradition. They doubted the sustainability of his house of cards. Setbacks brought out the doubters, eager to say, "I told you so." The media narrative shifted, questioning Sanders' bravado. But Sanders fired back, embracing the role of disruptor. The debate over the prime effect became as big as the games themselves. Love him or hate him, Deion Sanders changed the game. The prime effect became a blueprint. A charismatic leader, a powerful brand, and aggressive use of the transfer portal could resurrect a program overnight. The old 5-year rebuild was obsolete. Sanders embraced player empowerment and media savvy, turning his program into a global brand. Other schools took notice. The arguments about his methods missed the point. They worked. The Colorado experiment became a case study in the sport's future. Sanders didn't just rebuild a team, he redefined what was possible. January 2026. The story of Colorado football is still being written, but everything has changed. Folsom Field is electric, sellouts the norm, the fan base is engaged, the program a national fixture. The hard work of building a sustainable winner continues. Hope has replaced resignation. The prime effect is now a sustained reality. Colorado attracts top talent and constant attention. Sanders delivered on his promise. Colorado football matters again. He transformed a dying program into a phenomenon. The final chapter isn't written, but the impact is already clear.